जी अस्सलाम वालेकुम and welcome to the 14th lecture. We were discussing last time नया मॉड्यूल हमने स्टार्ट किया था और आज ख़त्म हो जाएगा. ठीक है, because of course we cover the key concepts we need for this course. जैसे मैंने कहा था linear algebra was long, we took like 4 or 5 lectures. पर उस पर आप build करना आसान होता जा रहा है. Metric spaces में we were only mainly interested in some concepts in there जो हमने last time थोड़े बहुत discuss किए हैं. We will continue with that today and finish this module on analytical geometry. तो क्या हमने कहा था, क्या है analytical geometry? Basically different from synthetic geometry. The differentiating factor is the coordinate system, which is possible because of the origin, and the coordinate system allows us to bring algebra into this whole thing, makes analysis easier to analytical geometry. Otherwise, we also call it Cartesian geometry after Descartes, the inventor, or coordinate geometry, which is more clear. Okay, you coordinates पे based है. In that we saw the big class of topological spaces, closeness known in some way defined, but exact measures may not be defined, right? Then inside that क्या था? Metric spaces. Yeah, so set with a distance metric defined. What was a metric? Axioms थे 4. Give me a function that meets those axioms, I'll say it qualifies as a metric. आपके फील्ड में वो काम का है या नहीं, वो आपने डिसाइड करना है. So from a mathematics point of view, it's a metric. Yeah. Then we said let's add few more axioms to that are useful for our set, which is the set of vectors and those things, vector space के लिए. Yeah. So we added a few more axioms and we came up with the normed vector space. Yeah. And we saw the link of norm to the distance matrix. With that we said, okay, within norms there is the special subclass of norms that comes from special spaces called the inner product space, right? और inner product में again क्या था? It's not one, कोई भी कई हो सकते हैं. All you have to do is meet those 3 conditions जो broader थी. Basically what? A mapping that is from V cross V to R. Firstly, it has to be bilinear, symmetric, positive, definite. Yeah, if you give me a mapping like that, I'll tell you with a vector space, then that mapping qualifies as an inner product. Yeah, and then inside the inner product we said there is one special product that we love to use a lot, which was the dot product, which is very इसमें कोई variety नहीं है क्योंकि एक definition है, right? So x t y. Yeah. And in that we saw, okay, that one we called Euclidean space. Yeah, because the dot product is actually linked to the Euclidean norm. उससे आप start करें अगर square root of dot product लें तो you end up with the definition of Euclidean distance, Euclidean norm, L2 norm. तो हमने different distances और norms भी देखे थे. क्या क्या थे? Mainly जो थोड़ा सा broader class है, the broader class that covers most of these is the Minkowski, right? In distances. In terms of norms, we call it the P norm. Yeah. So P norm, P greater or equal to 1, you get definitions of norms and distances. P less than 1 is not a norm, but still sometimes we use those. We saw a very special kind of distance called Hamming distance, which can tell us between strings how many changes do I need to make in one string to convert it into the other one. In that sense, how far they are from each other. क्योंकि words में तो कोई distance का meaning नहीं रहेगा ना, तो we have to then define other measures. So Hamming distance was there, and you can check that Hamming distance meets all the requirements of a distance metric. So it is a full distance metric. However, Hamming distance को use करके if you try to define a norm, which we call the zero norm, right? That zero norm is not a norm it fails the triangle inequality. So still sometimes we like to use it just to represent our problem. Okay, I want to find the most sparse solution. If you are going to give me 10 solutions, if there are 10 solutions possible to this problem, give me the one with most zeros inside it. Yeah, so I have to work with lesser data. Calculations कम हो जाती हैं, zero से multiplications सब कुछ आसान है, right? So with that, if I recall correctly, we stopped somewhere at projections. हो गई थी शुरू या अभी करनी? Projection start करनी है. Geometry हो गई थी. Okay. Yeah, okay, so we had done this map towards the end. पूरी किताब ही लिख दी है मैंने ये तो. Right, so I think we stopped here somewhere, yeah? इसके साथ हम थे. Yeah. So this kind of nicely summarizes the whole idea जो अभी तक हमने किया. अगर ये आपको figure समझ आ रही है ना, that's it. Yeah. With that, practically, as I've said, distances, norms, all of them depend upon which ones to use in machine learning, in your problem, in data analytics. That depends on your problem, right? आपकी problem में discrete data sets हैं, so Euclidean would not make sense. Yeah, Manhattan वगैरह की ज़रूरत पड़ेगी. You're dealing with data set that consist of strings that don't have any intrinsic numeric value. नाम है चीज़ों के, letters हैं, passwords हैं लोगों के, right? Then maybe Hamming distance. Okay, so you have to see, once you understand these underlying concepts, the way I like to look at it in general, Euclidean जो है ना हमें पता है कि वो बस सीधी line है. बाकी सारे तकरीबन, most of them at least, are kind of based on some sort of constraint distance. मतलब हमें क्या ज़रूरत है कि हम इस पॉइंट से उस पॉइंट का डिस्टेंस ये ना लें. कोई ना कोई हमारे ऊपर कंस्ट्रेंट लगेगा तो नहीं लेंगे ना, कि वो अर्थ के अंदर से नहीं गुजर सकते, रोड पे ऐसे नहीं जा सकते सीधा, right? You have to go along the roads or something. So usually it's the constraints that push us towards other measures of distance. And you will know your problem, so you will see that. Despite that, I showed you like 9 different norms that are most often used in machine learning. सारे हमने cover नहीं किए, उसमें और भी थे, but you can now understand, get the idea behind them. Yeah. Right. So we stopped here last time, and we said, okay, we had been talking about inner products. So let's represent, just like we represented transformations, linear transformations as matrices, so we will represent inner products as matrices as well, ताकि वो आसानी हो जाती है उसके साथ काम करना. So this is the simple thing. If there is a finite dimensional vector space V and it has an ordered basis, basis याद है, B1, B2, yeah. So it's an ordered basis of V. Then इसका जो inner product है, that can be represented with a symmetric positive definite matrix, okay, which is here, A x t a y hat, this guy. So you can represent any inner product in this form. What's the difference from one inner product to the other? This A will change. ठीक है? There's linear transformations में A was changing. Yeah. So similarly here this A will change. How do we find A? Well, we already said that let's say we have bases for V, then X and Y being members of V can be written as linear combinations. This is concept होता है basis का, right? If you write them like that and just play around, again you will use the bilinearity thing here. उसको use करके you can solve, and you come to this conclusion that it has this specific form over here, yeah, and you will be able to basically put these Bi and Bj in matrix Aij, okay, and that will be your matrix representing the inner products, right? So these matrices have to be symmetric and positive definite. याद है हमने डिस्कस किया था symmetric matrix A equals A transpose, positive definite matrix यही definition थी कि x t A x is greater than 0, yeah. So you can use the properties of inner products to show that A is symmetric and positive definite, उससे prove हो जाता हो, right? So again a quick revision here for symmetric and positive definite matrices. Positive definite is if x t m x is greater than 0 for all x in Rn except 0, right? अगर आप उसको 0 से मल्टीप्लाई कर रहे हैं दोनों तरफ फिर तो प्रोडक्ट 0 ही आना है, लेकिन वी टेक दैट आउट और उसके अलावा इट्स ऑलवेज पॉजिटिव. सिमेट्रिक हमें पता है, बड़ा सिंपल सी वो चीज़ है, A equals A transpose, yeah. So an example here, is this symmetric? Yes, easy to see, yeah. Is it positive definite? Maybe not so easy to prove, but you can see now, symmetric तो नज़र आ जाता है ना, yeah. But for the case of positive definite, you can take general. Remember, it has to be satisfied for all x, right? So you have to satisfy for all values of x. In this case, we wrote it as z. So we take general A, B, C, and we find that z t m z is this final line, जो कि सारे squares हैं. So there is no way this can give us a negative value. There is only one way it can give us a 0 value, which is if A is B is, and B and C are all zeros. So this matrix is positive definite. Then let's see this first matrix. As you can see now, you can again prove that the first matrix symmetric तो वो नज़र आ रहा है ना. What about positive definiteness? Yeah, that is for the first one it is positive definite, whereas for the second one you can see that you will end up with something like this, which can give a negative value. For example, at 2 and minus 3 it will give you. So the second matrix is not a positive definite matrix, which means A2 cannot represent an inner product. Okay? So some properties in terms of वो जो हमने vector spaces वगैरह की हुई है, null space वगैरह. So the null space of A consists only of 0 because x t x 0 for all x not this. So basically we are saying that the for a positive definite symmetric matrix, the null space is empty, or basically it's not empty, it contains only 0. There is only one solution to the null space. Diagonal elements are positive. You can again show, it's not hard to show these things, okay, that the elements will be positive. These kind of results help us in our analysis, in simplifying our equations when we work with matrices. So far what we have done is size of a vector, distance between vectors, right? Now next let us look at angle between vectors. Now inner products will help us find this also. Okay, how do we find this using the inner product? Here it is, cos omega, the angle, we will call this the angle between x and y. We require for this formula to work, those two should not be, neither of them should be 0, वरना ये fail हो जाएगा formula. Yeah. वैसे भी 0 वेक्टर से किसी का एंगल निकाल के आप क्या करेंगे वो कहीं है ही नहीं, right? So non-zero है, okay, then I can help you find the angle between them, and this is the formula. Where is the inner product? नहीं दोनों है ना, दोनों है, this is inner product, this is inner product, this is inner product. Basically, norm x is x with x. Yeah. Okay. So cos omega is the inner product of xy divided by the inner product of x with itself and the inner product of y with itself. Omega is between 0 and pi. We know from Cauchy-Schwarz inequality we can prove that just like cosine, this guy is also minus 1 to 1. Actually, that is one of the reasons it justifies being called cosine omega. Okay. So this formulation is useful for defining orthogonality and studying data where magnitude does not matter. Maybe we are just interested in the angle between data sets. Okay, we are not interested in what's the size of this vector, what's the separation between them. There are many situations where we are only interested in that. In that case, norms distance ki jagah angle makes more sense. Okay. So example, okay, you can read this on your own, bada simple hai. Notice that, is this always going to be the answer for cos omega? No, right? This is a specific answer. क्या है इसमें specific? यहाँ तक general है. Up to here it's general. But here they made a choice. They said let the inner product be dot product. Somebody else could take another inner product and end up with a different angle. याद हो separation में भी यही हुआ था ना? Norms change किए थे हमने तो distance change हो रहा था. Same चीज़ें थी, but the measure of distance between them changes. Yeah. Similarly here, we will see. We will come to that also. That the definition of the inner product will decide the angle. Yeah. Now orthogonal and orthonormal vectors. सुना हुआ है? क्या होते हैं? Perpendicular होते हैं. तो orthogonal और perpendicular में क्या फ़र्क होता है? वो दोनों बता रहे हैं आपको. ये एक इनर प्रोडक्ट 0 होता है या डॉट प्रोडक्ट 0 होता है? तो फिर वो ऑर्थोगोनल होते हैं. परपेंडिकुलर क्या होता है? करीब करीब पहुंच रहे हैं आप. चले पहले नहीं क्रॉस में जाएंगे. सो लेट्स लुक एट दिस. 0 होता है, लेकिन अभी मैं बताता हूँ, आगे आएगा. ऑर्थोगोनल वेक्टर्स और ऑर्थोनॉर्मल में क्या फ़र्क है? फिर ऑर्थोगोनल तो चलें ठीक है, उनका इनर प्रोडक्ट 0 होता है. यस. व्हाट आर ऑर्थोनॉर्मल? Yeah, so same thing you are saying. Yes, basically any two vectors whose inner product is 0 are orthogonal to each other, right? Two unit vectors whose inner product is 0. Yeah, so orthonormal में inner product हो 0 तो orthonormal is a subset of orthogonal. Yeah, so their unit product, their norm should be 1 also. So here, if this condition is met alone, orthogonal. If this is met along with this condition, जो आप बता रहे थे, individual size उनका या अपना अपना inner product, then these two are orthonormal. Okay, we need this definition because later we will define orthonormal bases. Yeah, so an implication of this definition is that 0 vector is orthogonal to every vector in the vector space. Okay, so this is a question I asked before. So you were close. Basically, one has to do with the general case. If two vectors have an inner product 0 with any definition of an inner product, then in that inner product they are orthogonal. जबकि perpendicular is fixed to dot product. When you say they are perpendicular, you are saying that I have chosen the inner product to be dot product and it turned out to be 0. So general case कौन सा है? Orthogonal. Perpendicular is a special case, just like dot product is a special case of inner product. This I already gave you an idea. Vectors orthogonal with respect to one inner product, that is in one inner product space, may not be orthogonal in another inner product. So these two apparently नज़र आ रहा हो 90 degree type. So they are, क्योंकि हमें आदत हुई है डॉट प्रोडक्ट देखने की ना, तो हमें तो ये ऑर्थोगोनली नज़र आ रहे हैं, ऐसे ही है ना, हालांकि ये परपेंडिकुलर है, या they are orthogonal with respect to dot product. But if I define another inner product, this you can check satisfies the condition of an inner product. With respect to this guy, इनका एंगल मैंने कैलकुलेट या नहीं दिखाया, you can check, won't be 0. Okay, so why do we say orthogonal is 90 degree? Because so far we have been defining orthogonality by this thing, right? इसमें 90 degree कहीं नहीं है, उसमें भी कहीं नहीं है, yeah. So why do we say that orthogonality? हमारे ज़हन में आता है ना orthogonal है तो हम for 90 degree imagine करते हैं, तो ये तो 0 का बता रहा है ना, तो वो क्यों है? Because of the, नहीं डॉट का तार, जनरल है ये बात, right? Any two vectors that are orthogonal in any inner product space, उस inner product में उनका angle क्या होगा? 90 होगा. Why? Look, if they are orthogonal, then x y is 0. यहाँ से शुरू होती है story, which should give cos omega equal to 0. Can we invert this? We cannot inverse cosine, right? क्यों? वो by याद आ रहा है इंजेक्टिव सर्जेक्टिव वाला, क्या फेल होता है इसमें? कौन सा टेस्ट फेल होता है इसमें? मैनी टू वन मैपिंग्स इसमें मौजूद होती है ना. सो बट वी कैन स्टिल इन्वर्ट इट इफ वी लिमिट इट्स रेंज या वो सारा, या बट वी ऑलरेडी सेड दैट इन आवर डेफिनेशन दैट ओमेगा वाज बिटवीन 0 to 2 pi minus pi to pi, I think. So since we have limited that, we can find the inverse, and that will be pi by 2 cos 0 का जो निकलेगा इस केस में, तो ये 90 डिग्री निकलता है. That is why we normally say that जब हम orthogonal की बात करते हैं तो हम angle assume करते हैं 90 degrees. But the definition of orthogonality is this, not this. ये है definition. Yeah, this leads to 90 degree angle in the way we define angles, yeah, between vectors. Yeah, 0 to pi में हमने उसको किया हुआ था. So orthogonal matrix now. A square matrix is orthogonal if all of its columns are orthonormal. Okay, so that means ATA equals I, and which implies that A inverse equals AT. So that's a very powerful things about orthogonal matrices, which is that उनका inverse लेना बड़ा आसान होता है. Yeah, a lot of linear algebra has to do with inverse. In fact, a lot of algebra has to do with inverse. Inverse क्या होता है? आपको yx plus 3c दे दिया, अब x निकालो, ये inverse ही कर रहे होते हैं ना आप हमेशा. So it's a very powerful thing, and it can help us in many ways if we can get orthogonal representations like this. So orthonormal basis, I'm not sure कि आप और columns को orthonormal basis कह सकते हैं या नहीं. Columns are orthonormal, so they multiply with each other. Zeros दे रहे हैं वो linearly independent उस sense में ये हैं. Maybe I'll have to check. I'm not sure. Yeah, but we can check this. It could be. लग ये रहा है कि होना चाहिए, क्योंकि हर एक की आपस में जो उनकी लीनियर इंडिपेंडेंस हम इस तरह भी चेक करते हैं x t y 0 से. Yes, so it seems it should be, but I don't want to commit right now, so we can check. Yeah. Linear transformations related to orthogonal matrices, they preserve angles and distances. Okay, this is interesting. याद है linear transformations जो हमने की थी? Yeah. So a phi applied to x. Yeah. Now interestingly, they preserve the linear transformations that come from orthogonal matrices, preserve angles and distances, and this can be proven here. If ax का 2 norm ये है, right, then ax t ax just हाँ right. So we can check if A is orthogonal, yeah, then you can simply check that the transformation जो आप इसकी करेंगे ax transform हो गया ना x into a new vector, the norm of that is the same as the norm of the original matrix vector. Yeah. Similarly, the cosine, the angle between the transformed versions and the originals is the same. Okay. So we say that orthogonal matrices, when they act upon vectors, they maintain or preserve their lengths and angles between them. Okay. So this is also a useful result. We will see this later, that orthogonal matrices actually represent rotations and flips. Okay. So orthogonal versus orthonormal bases. Now again we want to have n-dimensional vector space and a basis be all these bases here. These are orthogonal, these bases are orthogonal if bi bj the inner product is 0 हर पेयर का, ठीक है, and they are also normal if वही जो requirement थी. Yeah. So basically it's just extending the idea of orthogonal and orthonormal to bases. पहले हम general vectors की बात कर रहे थे, अब bases की बात करें. Yeah. Bases that satisfy these two conditions will be called orthonormal bases. Yeah. And these are the bases we usually like to work with for good reason. We will see that. Yeah. So there are some examples of orthonormal bases. You can check that these are orthonormal. We had looked at something called orthogonal complement. उस वक्त हमने ऑर्थोगोनैलिटी डायरेक्टली डिफाइन नहीं की थी, हमने वही 90 डिग्री जो हमें पहले से आइडिया वही ले लिया था. या सो बट वी डिड डिफाइन ऑर्थोगोनल कॉम्प्लीमेंट. याद है आपको? वी सेड नल स्पेस ऑफ अ मैट्रिक्स is orthogonal to the row space always. Yeah. So it is orthogonal that and they are orthogonal complement of each other. What we had said there was that every vector in null space is orthogonal to every vector in row space. Yeah. And together they form Rn. Yeah. That means अगर ये row space है, the only option left for null space is this line, because all the vectors on this line are orthogonal to all the vectors in this plane, right? So this was orthogonal complement. Now we can define it exactly, okay, using what we have learned now about orthogonality, right? We are being able to define orthogonality. So we will say that an orthogonal complement basically is where every vector of u will be orthogonal to every vector of u complement. इसका orthogonal complement. Not only that, but together they will, for this to be orthogonal complement, they will span the whole vector space. Okay, उधर हम vector space R3 ले रहे थे पिछले example में. So here it's the vector space V. We had seen this rank nullity thing also before. So these are different uses of orthogonality and orthonormal orthogonal complements. Other uses of orthogonal complement, basically you can use it to describe a whole hyperplane. Actually करते भी हैं calculus 2 वगैरह में ना, ढूंढते हैं ना vector orthogonal to the plane. That vector defines the plane. Yeah, how is that? We can describe this whole hyperplane U, this subspace, on the basis of its orthogonal complement. Yeah, unit basis vector W. How do we define it? We say U is any vector x such that x is orthogonal to W. Yeah, what is W? Basically, find the vector orthogonal to the plane. Yeah, one vector orthogonal to the plane. Then, if it is unit norm, then all the vectors that are orthogonal to this plane lie on this vector. Could be the other way around, like this also. But more importantly, these guys in here, they satisfy one common condition. All of them are orthogonal to the same vector W, right? At least to W. W के जो multiples हैं उनसे भी वो होगा. लेकिन we take the basis, so we take the single W, and we say okay, U is any vector x such that x is orthogonal to W, where W is the basis vector for this line. या पूरी line के हर vector से तो नहीं check करेंगे, वो तो multiples हैं उसके. So we can do that. So inner products अभी तक हम vectors पे apply कर रहे थे, right? They are not limited to vectors. और कहाँ लग सकते हैं? Functions पे. Yeah. So we can actually define inner products for functions. Okay, and this is so U is a function from R to R and V is a function from R to R. Then this thing defines an inner product between the two functions. Okay, you can, वो आपने Hilbert space की जो बात की थी ना, that is linked to this thing. Okay, I won't go into Hilbert space, वो हमारे इतने काम की नहीं यहाँ पे, but it has a link to Hilbert space. अगर आपने पढ़ना है तो you can read that. But we do make use of this also. Let's see. Actually, based on this, the whole of Fourier transform, Laplace transform, वो इसी पे built है mainly. Yeah, on this idea of inner products. So because once you are defining inner product between functions, you can define orthogonality between functions, right? कि दो function orthogonal हैं. Yeah, when they are orthogonal, you can make use of that idea to develop bases of functions. जो कि Fourier करता है. Fourier में क्या हमने देखा था? It said I will model all functions or a broad class of function as collections of sinusoids, right? So why is it able to use them as bases? It turns out these guys are orthogonal to each other. Sin x is orthogonal to cos x, you can prove it, okay, over minus pi to pi. This is their product. अगर आप इसका एरिया देखेंगे तो ये 0 निकलेगा. जो ग्राफ में बना हुआ है, it will be 0. This is the idea being used here, but not just for sine cosine, but for the complex sinusoid. So you can prove that for discrete multiples of the frequency, ये जो n omega की जगह आप अगर n k रख दें ना, discrete versions, तो all of them are orthogonal to each other. Okay, this is heavily used in communications. ये जो आपकी spectrum जिस पे ये हमारे calls वगैरह आती हैं सारी की सारी, they are all built on this orthogonality idea. Okay, so cos nx are all orthogonal to each other for n 0, 1, 2 and so on. So cos x is orthogonal to cos 2x, it's orthogonal to cos 3x, and you can then extend that to ej ओमेगा पे भी एक्सटेंड हो जाता है, विच लीड्स यू टू द जनरल डेफिनेशन ऑफ द Fourier transform. So you can prove that all of these are orthogonal to each other. Your homework is to see how this applies to complex sinusoids which are used in Fourier transform. Now we are here, since we have defined angles and measures, so we are ready to define shadows, projections जो आती हैं एक दूसरे के ऊपर. Yeah. So यहाँ फर्स्ट केस में क्या हो रहा है, वी आर प्रोजेक्टिंग अ वेक्टर x, अब कई दफ़ा पढ़ते हैं अंडर ग्रेड में वगैरह, या प्रोजेक्शन. सो वी आर प्रोजेक्टिंग वेक्टर x ऑन टू अ सब स्पेस विच इज़ जस्ट अ लाइन, राइट, सिंगल वेक्टर. सो उस पर आप, या लाइन है, ऑल द वेक्टर्स ऑन दिस लाइन. सो यू आर प्रोजेक्टिंग, इसका आप शेडो ले रहे हैं यहाँ पे, ये पार्ट. हियर यू आर प्रोजेक्टिंग अ वेक्टर ऑन टू अ प्लेन or a subspace that is defining a plane, right? Now, there is an interesting observation to be made. What's the answer to this? Projection of u x, x की projection onto u, then जो भी जवाब आए उसको भी project करें onto u, right? What should be the final answer? ये वाली? No. So do you understand the question? So projection x onto u. In this case, projection of x onto u is this guy. Agreed? And in this case, the projection of x onto u is this part. Yeah? Now I am saying, ये आ गया इधर. Now apply projection of this, इसकी projection लें on u. Again, क्या आएगा? है? नहीं, थोड़ा सिंपल सा नहीं है ये जो नीचे जो मैंने सर्कल किया है. नाउ इफ आई स्टार्ट हियर, आई गिव यू दिस, वो इंटर वाला काम हो गया, ठीक. आई गिव यू दिस एंड आई आस्क यू व्हाट्स द प्रोजेक्शन ऑफ दिस वेक्टर ऑन यू. है नहीं, ऑन यू करना, आप वो ए बी पे ना स्प्लिट करें ना. हाँ वही होगी, ये खुद ही आएगा ना. फर्दर क्या लेंगे, वो ऑलरेडी उसके अंदर ही है ना, राइट. भाई इसकी तो बनती थी ना, इसका शेडो आपने ले लिया, ठीक. अब वो इसको फर्दर स्प्लिट कर रहे हैं इनटू. Then if you say the projection of this on this is here, actually you're not projecting this on u, you're projecting this on the vector represented, yeah, the subspace represented by by. मैं ये नहीं कह रहा, right? I'm saying if you projected x onto u, then project that projection onto u again, तो वो खुद ही आएगी. इसका मतलब है कि आप प्रोजेक्शन की दोबारा प्रोजेक्शन ही ले सकते हैं पर कोई ऑपरेशन नहीं होगा, फ़ायदा नहीं होगा, यू आर ऑलरेडी डन. या ये बड़ी एक इंटरेस्टिंग प्रॉपर्टी है. इनफैक्ट दिस टर्न्स आउट टू बी द डिफाइनिंग प्रॉपर्टी ऑफ अ प्रोजेक्शन. दिस इज हाउ वी डिफाइन अ प्रोजेक्शन. ठीक है. सो इफ यू टेक द प्रोजेक्शन एंड यू टेक प्रोजेक्शन अगेन सेम यू पे, जाहिर है अगर वो चेंज कर दिया फिर तो, देन दिस इज, इट लीड्स टू द ओरिजिनल केस, नथिंग एल्स हैपन्स. अब तीसरी दफ़ा लेंगे तो कुछ मज़ीद कुछ नहीं होगा. या सो that means we can represent a projection function and a projection matrix by that very unique property that we just saw, which is to say, if we want to represent projection as a linear mapping, yaad hai linear mappings? Yes, pi, let's say we call it a pi v to u. It's a projection if pi, yaad hai composition, वही जो मैंने पीछे किया है, projection x. So if projection is represented by pi, then projection x is represented by pi composed pi, which is pi square. Yeah. So this is what we said already. So this is the defining. Interestingly, any linear mapping that satisfies this qualifies as a projection. Okay. So what about the matrix? If I want to represent this linear transformation which is a projection as a matrix p pi, तो p pi को क्या satisfy करना चाहिए? हाँ लेकिन मेट्रिसेस में बताएं ना, वो तो कॉम्पोजिशन तो मेट्रिसेस में नहीं करते हम. याद है कॉम्पोजिशन से क्या निकला था? So when we said F, O, G and their related matrices are A and B, वो क्या बनता था? नहीं. In terms of matrices, composition turns to product. याद है? So basically P pi square equals P pi. Yeah. So if P pi is the matrix that represents this guy, and then of course it is also P pi, then we have seen already that the composition of linear transformations leads to product of their respective transformation matrices. So a simple P pi square. So this thing, when you say this in mappings, this is what you say in the matrices. So any matrix P such that P square equals P qualifies as a projection matrix. It carries out a projection. Okay? It is the associated matrix to a linear mapping that we will call projection. There is an important note here. This definition requires P pi to be square. क्यों? वो मैंने लिख दिया ऑलरेडी है. प्रोडक्ट हो नहीं पाएगा अगर P is m by n, there is no P square, क्योंकि वो आप कह रहे होंगे m by n with n by m, वो तो नहीं कर सकते, right? So projection matrices have to be square matrices that satisfy P pi square equal P pi, but we usually skip that part that they have to be square, because anyone who knows linear algebra would know that P pi square हो ही नहीं सकता उसके बाद, ठीक है? So orthogonal versus oblique projection. I'm just mentioning it for the sake of completion, but mainly we work with these courses with orthogonal projection. क्या होता है फ़र्क? अभी जो हमने देखी थी दोनों, वो क्या थी? जो डायग्राम जो देखी थी हमने एटलीस्ट, ये वाली 90 दे रहे थे ना हम, तो वो ऑर्थोगोनल प्रोजेक्शंस थी. ये दोनों डायग्राम जो हम देखें. Basically there is possibility of oblique projections. In orthogonal projection, this guy should be orthogonal to U. Yeah, this pi, whatever is left, you projected. Yeah, whatever is left से क्या मुराद है? This plus this is your original x, right? So whatever is left after the projection, x minus pi ux, we call the projection pi ux, that must be orthogonal to U. That is called an orthogonal projection. Whereas there are cases of oblique projection where what is left is allowed to be on a certain angle. Okay, you decide the angle. अभी इधर हमने 90 चूज़ किया हुआ है, पहले से वो चूज़ हो जाता है, उस लिहाज से फिर कितनी प्रोजेक्शन. दिस इज़ यूज्ड हेविली इन ग्राफिक्स डिज़ाइन एंड आई थिंक इन CAD CAM ऑल्सो. या आप लोग करते होंगे, लेकिन बहरहाल हमारे इतने काम की नहीं है, ठीक. सो आई विल नॉट गो इनटू दैट टू मच डिटेल. Note that in case of orthogonal projection, pi ux, this guy, is the vector in U that is closest to x. इससे ज़्यादा करीब तो नहीं है कोई वेक्टर. देखिए अगर मैंने ये प्रोजेक्शन ली होती या तो ये ऐसे एंगल पे जाना था उधर, ऐसे ही it will get longer. Yeah. So in case of orthogonal projection, this pi ux, the point represented by it, is closest to x. उससे ज़्यादा, क्योंकि वो बिल्कुल स्ट्रेट सीधी वर्टिकल लाइन है, जबकि कोई और पॉइंट आप ट्राई कर लें इसमें रोटेटेड तो वो एंगल पे आती जाएगी, लाइन लंबी होती जाएगी, इंक्लाइंड लाइन बनती जाएगी. या सो दिस इज समथिंग वी विल यूज वेरी सून. Suppose we want to we want to have general formulation of orthogonal projections. Yeah. So suppose we want to project x onto a subspace which has some ordered basis. ठीक है. मैंने आपको vector x दिया है. I want you to project it onto U, which is, I say, a subspace in Rn, and I give you the ordered basis of U. then is that okay? We can write the projection as a linear combination of bases of u. लिख सकते हैं क्यों? क्योंकि by definition the projection of x in u has to be in u. ऐसे ही है ना, उसके अंदर होगी ना, जब उसके अंदर है तो उसकी बेसिस उसको रिप्रेजेंट कर सकती हैं. यही तो बेसिस का मतलब होता है. सारी डेफिनेशंस आर कमिंग टुगेदर to define this. Then lambda are basically, lambda are the coordinates of the projection with respect to the given basis of u, right? So now pi u x would qualify as an orthogonal projection of x onto u only if x minus pi u x is orthogonal to all the basis vectors of u, right? So u के basis vector हैं b1 and b2. Yeah, whatever is left, this guy has got to be orthogonal to both of them. इस केस में दो हैं, अगर उनसे ऑर्थोगोनल हैं तो उनकी पूरी स्पेस से फिर ऑर्थोगोनल होंगे. ठीक. सो इफ दैट इज द केस आई कैन राइट दैट कंडीशन. अभी मैं ड्राइव क्या कर रहा हूँ बाय द वे, आई एम ट्राइंग टू डिराइव पी पाई. आपने मुझे एक टास्क दिया है. यू सेड हियर इज योर वेक्टर एक्स, project it onto subspace u. All I know about this u is its basis b1, b2, b3 ordered basis. Now give me a formula to project x onto u, right? So that's what we're deriving here. We conclude that these basis vectors, yeah, they have to be orthogonal to x minus b lambda, which is basically b lambda is क्या है ये कंफ्यूज नहीं होना. ये जो वर्टिकल लाइन रह गई है ना, that is x minus pi u, which is x minus b lambda. Yeah, so we get a set of equations and these are very popular equations. We call them the normal equations and we can solve them. Okay, homogeneous system मिल गया ना हमें. Yeah, now you solve them. Basically whatever I wrote here, I wrote this statement as formulas, then I wrote that as a homogeneous system, solved it and got lambda, put the lambda back in here and got what I wanted. Projection निकालनी थी. So now I know that the projection of x onto a subspace u whose ordered bases are in B is basically b bt b inverse bt. ये बड़ा स्पेसिफिक सी एक फॉर्म आ गई है. ठीक है, वैसे ये फॉर्म कहीं देखी हुई आप लोगों ने प्रोजेक्शन के अलावा? ग्रुप्स में देखिए. स्यूडो इनवर्स में देखिए. या सो वी विल कम टू दैट आल्सो. सो what is the projection matrix then? ये हो जाएगा ऐसे ही है, because this part अगर मैं इसको p pi कह दूं, if I say is p pi, then p pi x is the projection, right? So now we have our projection matrix that we needed, yeah, which is here. You can convince yourselves that this inverse exists. क्यों exist करेगा ये inverse इस केस में? ये अगर exist ना करता हो तो ये solution सारा तब हो जाएगा. पर इधर इस setup में ये हमेशा exist करेगा. क्यों? You can check that because B is basis vectors होते हैं ना, right? So whenever when you use the basis vectors, BTB will always be invertible. Okay, so now let's summarize this. To get orthogonal projection of x onto U with matrix of ordered basis B, all you have to do is form the projection matrix. ठीक है, जो आपको basis matrix दिया गया है उसी से पूरा का पूरा projection matrix बन जाएगा. Multiply that x with that projection matrix and you get the projection, right? So यहाँ पे कुछ examples हैं. I'll let you read those when I share the slides. It's no big deal. सिर्फ वो numerically आपको show किया हुआ है. one of the last topics for this module, I think. So next, let's apply the concept of projection and norms to the game of knowns and unknowns. वो जो हमारा असली मसला था, systems of equations with knowns and unknowns, yeah. And we will develop the new concept of pseudo inverse. Okay. So first, अगर आपको ये याद हो, I said that in real systems, machine learning, signal processing, engineering problems, वो जो आपकी अच्छी सी properly determined system है वो तो होता नहीं है. Almost always you are working with over determined inconsistent systems. उसकी हमने वजह बताई थी. There will be noise, there will be errors in the calculations, in the measurements, there will be variations. On top of that, when you know there are variations, you want lots of data ताकि वो average out हो जाए. So naturally you end up with over determined inconsistent system. Like here, this system is over determined, agreed. एक equation चाहिए थी, 3 दी हुई है. ऊपर से ये inconsistent भी है, तीनों different value बता रही है. So should we give up here? क्या discuss किया था हमने? Should we just give it up? बस यही है, नहीं हो सकता ऐसा कुछ. What we did was found the best match कोई एक criteria. तो हमने एक sort of कहा, okay, let's find a point whose sum of the difference from all जिसका basically जिसका distance from all these points is total difference जो है minimum है. इसको हमने कहा था sort of least squares. Already आपको नज़र आ रहा होगा ये 2 norm को Euclidean distance चल रहा है. या उस वक्त मैंने define नहीं किया हुआ था, so I didn't call it that. But this is least squares. Similarly, we saw in like this thing 2D case. Now this is an overdetermined system. Why? दो unknown है, but you have 3 equations, and it's also inconsistent because तीनों अलग-अलग solution दे रहे हैं. आप पास कई solution. So should we leave it at that, or we said okay, maybe find a point again just like that. It's at the minimum total distance from a square हम करते हैं क्योंकि वो derivatives वगैरह आसान हो जाते हैं. ठीक है, आप absolute भी कर सकते हैं लेकिन फिर आपको absolute का derivative मज़ा आएगा करते हुए. ठीक है, so it gets the job done. It's fine for us. So least squares shows up again. So let's formalize it. Let's make this whole thing more formal. Let's look at it in a more general setting. I will start with overdetermined inconsistent systems. Yeah. So suppose I have to solve this overdetermined system, that is A is tall. कई नाम होते हैं इनके भी, tall, wide. Yeah, tall under overdetermined, apparently overdetermined. I will come to that later. There are overdetermined systems that are apparently overdetermined, but they are actually underdetermined. ठीक है, तो at least tall means here overdetermined system. Since A is not square, A inverse को तो आप भूल जाएं. You cannot say I will find x equal to A inverse B. नहीं निकाल सकते क्योंकि inverse is only defined for square matrices. Yeah, and that also exists only for invertible matrices. Yeah, define तो होता है सबके लिए लेकिन फिर जो non invertible है उनका exist नहीं करेगा. Right, division by 0 आ जाएगी. So second, what if B is not even in the column space of A? अब मैंने आपको एक overdetermined system दिया है which is also inconsistent, because what I told you is impossible. I said Ax equals B, but B is not in the column space of A. और ऊपर जो जुमला लिखा है वो यही claim कर रहा है कि B is in the column space. क्या होती है? Put any values of x, जो भी Ax से निकालते जाएंगे वो सारी column. लेकिन मैं ऊपर I am saying that B is in column space of A, but if in reality it's not. या फिर क्या होगा? पहला तो ये कि ये तो हो ही नहीं सकता कि x equals A inverse B, वो भूल जाएं आप, because it's not square. On top of that, B is not even in the column space of A. या ये वही उसी तरह का मसला चल रहा है जो हमने थोड़ा सा सिंपल अल्फाज में 2D में 3D में देखा था. अब एक हाल तो ये है कि हम कहें ओके कुछ नहीं हो सकता, right? But then all machine learning will stop. Yeah, so we realize yeah, in anyway this is saying that the system is inconsistent. There doesn't exist an x in Rn basically. Yeah, I'm talking about x in Rn, where n is the size of x, that's that Ax equal to B, that is B is not in the column space of A. अगर ऐसी situation है, ठीक? Then one thing is to say, okay, should we leave it at that, or could we try to see, okay, since there will always be random errors there, there will be issues there, why not try to find the best one, जैसे हमने वो पिछले दोनों cases में निकाला था, yeah? So this is the situation. This is the column. This situation represents what I mentioned here. Okay, you gave me a this is the column space of the matrix you gave me, और जो आपने मुझे जवाब दिया है वो इधर है ही नहीं. It's outside this guy. Yeah. Now you are asking me to solve it. Simple math तो कहता है कि नहीं होने लगा ये. Yeah. But since we are not used to giving up, we say okay, let's find the next best guess. ठीक है? Let's find the image of B inside column space of A, the shadow of B inside column. Why do we want that orthogonal shadow that B had? Because it's the closest thing to B. As you know, I cannot solve this. I cannot solve this. But what if I can find कि इसका nearest neighbor कौन है which does solve this? Solving this means that I have to stay inside the column space of A. Nearest neighbor, there can be other definition, but the one definition simply is that it's the one that has minimum Euclidean distance from the original B, right? वो आपको हम already discuss कर चुके हैं. याद मैंने कहा था कि orthogonal projection में this guy, the projection is the closest point to that guy. So this is your best candidate in that sense. Yeah. So there is the best candidate, and yes, so what we will do is, okay, we'll say I will not solve Ax equals B, I will try to find Ax hat equals B hat, some x within the column space of A such that some x such that B hat is in the column space of A. Yeah. So that I will try to solve, and of course since the closest point requires B minus Ax hat, which is this thing, to be orthogonal to the column space of A. यही था ना जो projection की यही एक definition या तरीका था उसका. So अभी हमने formula निकाला था projection निकालने का. Yeah. So I will take the column space of A, make a projection matrix out of it, multiply it with B. But there is one problem. The formula I gave you was based on basis vectors. Yeah. Now I am just using the columns of A. There is a problem here. क्या problem हो सकती है? उस पे आते हैं हम. पहले ये let's say you can solve it like this. ये आपको समझ आ गया मैंने कैसे solve किया ये? I didn't solve Ax equals B. I solved Ax equals B hat. B hat was in the column space of A. That's the best thing I can do with what you gave me. We know that even if B had to be in the column space of A, the random errors and all those things will shift things. Okay. So instead of going crazy about it, आपकी search engine जो होते हैं अच्छे वाले, कई search engine या कई software होते हैं उसमें आप लफ्ज़ छोटा सा एक भी गलत लिख दें तो कहता है not found. Google कहता है did you mean this? solve हो जाता है. Yeah. So it finds the closest match. Hamming distance लगाता होगा वो कोई. Yeah. So basically why not say okay हमें पता है कि things will go crazy from time to time, why not find the closest match? अगर वो आपके काम आता है तो use कर लें, और it does help us a lot. So basically B hat is the projection of projection of B onto A, and now I have a solution. Of course, writing it like this, I'm going to define this and I have to solve. So if you see, compare these here, कहाँ गया? Sorry, ये नहीं. This part with this, so A already इधर है, then X hat has to be this thing, right? And इसको हम, we give it a name, we will say, look at it later, it's a pseudo inverse of a tall matrix with some conditions, we will see that. Now we would also like to know कि हमने कितना cost incur किया है. We didn't solve for this guy, right? We solved for this guy. So how far are we? If you're not too far, the solution is good enough. If we are too far, maybe you need to collect more data. You need to collect more better data, right? So ये नहीं है कि निकाल के हम बस कहेंगे बस ये आ गया. We'll also give how far you are. Is that acceptable for you? No? Okay, then give me something else. इससे ज़्यादा बेहतर मैं आपको नहीं दे सकता. ठीक है? So we can give you the distance. So again, norms are coming in. Projections and norms helping us define all these things, right? So I can tell you how much compromised the solution is by telling you how far b hat is from b. Okay. Okay. Now, three interesting aspects of this whole thing. Firstly, this formulation will only work if ATA inverse exists. वो जब पहले मैंने निकाला था तब मैंने कहा था B inverse always exists because they were basis vectors. But here I am using the columns of A. Basically A use कर रहा हूँ मैं. So it's not guaranteed. It is only possible if A is full column rank. याद है we said A is a tall matrix. तो रो रैंक तो हो ही नहीं सकता इसका क्योंकि रैंक क्या था मिनिमम ऑफ m and n ज़्यादा से ज़्यादा इतना हो सकता है राइट. सो if it is full column rank then ATA inverse exists. tall matrix है जितने इसके कॉलम हैं उतना इसका रैंक एटलीस्ट होना चाहिए. ठीक है. then it is invertible. ATA inverse is invertible. That's one thing. Then from its formulation and comparison, now if we compare it to the invertible square matrix case, let's say there is a square matrix, उसका invertible होता तो हम ऐसे लिख सकते थे, right? But compare what we just wrote to that. This is what we wrote. अभी जो हमने पहले किया है, yeah, least square solution जो किया. If you look at that, it looks like this whole thing is kind of an inverse, right, of a full column matrix, right? So if that is the case, then we can in fact try to call it an inverse. But since it's not, pseudo क्या होता है? Pseudo intellectuals होते हैं ना, क्या होता है? Not exactly. या बस तकरीबन या made up भी के लिए भी use होता है या. So pseudo inverse is kind of inverse, close to an inverse. Yeah. So we are going to use ATA inverse. Let me check. Everything okay? कुछ चाहिए मोबाइल में? No? Okay. I think he is getting bored perhaps. आप समझ आ रही है? नहीं? थोड़ी आ रही समझ. Okay. So I've turned off the volume. You can play your game. Add some time there. Okay. So we have around 10-15 more minutes. We'll finish that. ये समझ आ गया कि नहीं आया? Simply inverse के concept को हमने expand किया है. ठीक है? We expanded it into. Look here. If this was square and invertible, yes. But if it's not, it's tall and full column rank, which means this guy at least exists. पहले हम कहे थे A inverse should exist for this. अगर वो नहीं possible तो चलो ATA inverse exist करता है या नहीं. That means it's tall and full column rank. Then we'll say okay, let's take this as the inverse. And this is the another important bit. Basically, it turns out that this inverse or this definition of inverse solves the least squares problem. Okay, जो हमने तो इस तरह नहीं निकाली थी, हमने projection से किया उसको solve, right? We solved with the help of the idea of projecting. Here projection से किया था. But if you try it with the least squares formulation, which is this formulation here, ये क्या है? Find x in Rn such that ax minus b का 2 norm. ये exactly वही है जो हमने अभी 2D 3D में नहीं देखा था. Distance from all the points, Yeah, so it turns out that for a tall tall full column rank matrix, the least square will also give you this solution. So we call it the pseudo inverse. अब बहुत सी text में they just write it pseudo inverse, but it's better to call this formulation the pseudo inverse of tall full rank column matrices. Why? Because अगर वो full rank नहीं होगा तो वैसे ये exist नहीं करेगा. Yeah, so वो problematic हो जाएगा. Now, what if A is tall and B is in the column space of A? फर्क समझ आ रहा है? So it's an overdetermined system, but it is consistent. ये बड़ा रेयर केस होता है. तो ना इतना सारा आपने डेटा, 2 अननोन थे, 50 आपने इक्वेशन ले ली, यानी मेजरमेंट्स ले ली डिफरेंट, और वो कंसिस्टेंट भी निकल आए. होता नहीं है ठीक है, लेकिन चले अगर होगा तो आपका क्या ख्याल है, अब क्या फ़र्क पड़ेगा? क्विक गैसेस पिछले से. फर्स्ट ऑफ ऑल, वेयर विल बी बी विद रिस्पेक्ट टू दी कॉलम स्पेस ऑफ ए? पहले तो वो बार थी, है ना? Yes, so if this is the column space of A, then B was here. Now I am saying B is in there, right? But the problem is that it's still a tall matrix, still an overdetermined system. Yeah? Yeah, exactly. वो 0 हो जाएगा. So it's a tall matrix, it's consistent, so Ax equal to B, that means now for there exists an X such that Ax equal B, that means B is in the column space of A. Problem हमारा क्या है कि A inverse अभी भी exist नहीं करेगा, क्योंकि it's defined for square matrices, right? The A inverse जो है वो defined as square matrices के लिए. However, just like the previous case, if A is full column rank, then AT A inverse exists, and we can still use the projection formula जो हमने किया था, find AT A inverse AT equals B, and it will give you वो जो आपने भी बताया. This time the solution will not be a compromised solution, it will be an exact solution. अब you may ask, okay, if the exact solution does exist, why didn't we just write it as X equals A inverse B? Yes, but you know the answer, right? Although the solution have one, but the definition of an inverse doesn't allow you to do that, right? But good thing is pseudo inverse allows you to do that and gives you the exact solution, right? So it takes away the redundancies basically. Linear dependent जो parts है ना वो निकाल देता है वो. So it's a very powerful solution and gives you the exact solution. Again, all you have to do is solve this guy. Automatically it will take care of this thing, yeah, and its formulation can be like this. I already told you that, so that's fine. Okay, next case. What if A is tall but not full column rank? अब ये एक further मसला आ गया, ठीक है? A जो है over system is over determined, but A is not full column rank. ये कब possible है? It's only possible कि मैंने आपको 2 unknown है. There are 10 equations. Okay, it looks like an over system, पर no equations जो है वो पहली की सारी linear combinations हैं, ठीक है? या पहली 2 के linear, यानी the actual worth उसकी अगर आप करेंगे तो वो छोटा सा रह जाएगा. That is actually an underdetermined system. It's not an overdetermined system. So then we have to look at, then this is no longer possible, because if it's not full column rank, it can be shown that ATA, even ATA will not be invertible, okay, and you won't be able to use this formulation, at least this definition. So then we ask ourselves, should we leave it at that, or could we use least squares to help us here also? So let's see. पहले थोड़ा सा रिकॉल कर लेते हैं. अंडरडिटरमिन्ड सिस्टम याद है, 2 equations, 1 unknown, one equation, 2 unknowns, then this whole line is a solution. Every point on this line is a solution. अब क्या करें, छोड़ दें इसको यहाँ हैं, सॉल्व करें ना. क्या अब इसका क्या करेंगे? चले वो दूसरे में तो हमने वो कर लिया था ना, मिनिमम लीस्ट स्क्वायर्स निकाल लिया था मिनिमम. इसका क्या करें? राइट. Interestingly, क्योंकि all of these are solutions, yeah, as I said, multiple solution is not necessarily a bad thing. फ्लो वगैरह में आपके वो जो इक्वी थर्मल या इक्वी जो भी वेलोसिटी के सरफेसेस निकलते हैं ना, आप जो निकालते हैं ना, तो वो सारे सोल्यूशन होते हैं. या व्हाट वी कैन डू इज से ओके ऑल दिस सॉल्यूशंस गिवन दिस डिटेल, जिसने भी हमें ये दिया है, इट सीम्स कि उनके लिए डजंट मैटर, ऑल दे वांटेड वाज दैट x प्लस वाई शुड बी 5. प्रेशर प्लस टेम्परेचर का कॉम्बो जो है वो इतना होना चाहिए. अब वो आप कैसे लाते हैं मुझे नहीं पता. तो फिर आप ऐसा ना लाए ना, ट्राई टू फाइंड प्रेशर एंड टेम्परेचर्स विच यू कैन अचीव इन अ लैब और इन रियल सिचुएशन इजीली. डोंट टेक टेम्परेचर टू 0 Kelvin और प्रेशर टू ट्रिलियन पास्कल, राइट. सो ट्राई टू फाइंड, आपको पूरी रेंज दे दी गई है, P plus T should be million and or 1000, then choose P and T such that it's feasible for you, right. One way that we often do is it say okay, among the candidates each vector here, मैंने चंद शो किया, I'm showing only some of them, each of these vectors is a solution, agreed, right. But there is only one solution with the minimum length, right, minimum distance, kind of minimum effort solution है ये, ठीक है. क्योंकि in that case it has the minimum Euclidean norm, so I can say okay, even in here I could find a unique solution by putting this additional constraint, okay, that is I will find the minimum norm solution. Now as it turns out, your least squares will automatically give you that. So it seems जो एक overarching theme है वो ये है कि this least square guy is very powerful, right. पिछले दोनों केसेस का भी ये सोल्यूशन आपको दे देगा उस फॉर्म में AT A इनवर्स, इसका ये इस तरह नहीं देगा AT A इनवर्स, because that is not possible. Yeah, it can still give you a solution where it will solve another problem which will be equivalent in this case, which will be that minimize the, find the minimum x such that Ax equals B. सही है, क्योंकि Ax equals B on in so many points, ऐसे ही है ना. ऑलरेडी वी सेड, ऐसे नहीं कि इसका सोल्यूशन नहीं है प्रॉब्लम ये कि कुछ ज़्यादा ही सोल्यूशन है हमारे पास. देयर आर लॉट्स ऑफ Ax equal B, Ax1 equals B, Ax2 equals B, Ax3, which one should I pick? Pick the one with the minimum norm, minimum effort. Yeah, so in that sense automatically your least squares will give you the minimum norm solution. So that is where we will just simply define its relative, the pseudo inverse, in a more general terms. अभी मैंने आपको आइडिया दिया pseudo inverse का, वो जो फॉर्मूला है AT A inverse AT, that applies only to tall full column rank matrices, right. To others it doesn't, that formula doesn't apply, but least square still works. So there is something general that works, that is this guy. इसका नाम Moore Penrose pseudo inverse भी है, yeah, known by many names here. So pseudo inverse, firstly this is what you should keep in mind, it's our tool for inverting non-square matrices, okay. So pseudo inverse अक्सर ये डैगर या प्लस से रिप्रेजेंट होता है, ठीक है. सो pseudo inverse of A R n by m for matrix C, no condition, ठीक है. और इंटरेस्टिंगली इट टेक्स अवे ऑल द कंडीशंस, जिसने ना टॉल को देखना है, ना फैट वाइड मैट्रिक्स को देखना है, ना इन्वर्टेबल को देखना है, इसने बस सारा कुछ है इसमें. दैट इज़ वेरी पावरफुल. या सो ऑफ कोर्स इट इनकर्स अ कॉस्ट. ऐसा नहीं है कि वी आर डूइंग दिस इन्वर्ट एट नो कॉस्ट. वो जब इसने पीछे टॉल इनकन्सिस्टेंट सिस्टम को किया था तो देयर वाज अ कॉस्ट b माइनस b हैट, या वो तो इनकर करेगा ये. then at least it gives you something कि भाई this is the best I can do, instead of saying no solution or too many solutions, चले जी घर चल जाए, right. So what it does is इसकी definition general है, yeah, more general than inverse or other things. So its definition includes that a pseudo inverse times A should be A pseudo inverse A times A pseudo inverse should be A pseudo inverse and A pseudo inverse should be symmetric. ठीक है, अब ये ना पूछना किसने सोचा बैठ के सारा कुछ, yeah, but this is actually a definition that kind of extends the concept of inverse. Okay, its existence, ये बड़ी powerful statement है. Okay, वो जो A inverse के नखरे थे ना वो ख़त्म हो गए. Yeah, but you have to keep in mind that there is a cost to it in most cases. Yeah, always exists and is unique. How do we compute it? Full column rank के लिए इस तरह करते हैं जो मैंने already दिखा दिया. So many textbooks call this the pseudo inverse. It's not. It's one of the pseudo inverses. Okay, under the assumption that you're talking about full column rank matrices. उनके लिए ये है, वरना ATA inverse exist नहीं करता. For diagonal matrices, it can be shown. I won't show it here, but it can be shown that you can simply invert the non-zero diagonals of A to get the pseudo inverse. But the most general formulation is this one. We write A as U sigma VT. ये किसी को पता है क्या है? कौन सी decomposition है? Singular value decomposition, SVD. ये actually this also links to the power of SVD. वो आगे आएगा, पर we just a trailer for that. If you can write A, which you can actually, you can write any matrix A as sigma by the way. SVD की ये भी, it's like the cousin of pseudo inverse in terms of decompositions. So you can write it like this, and once you write it in an SVD form, you can always find the pseudo inverse by this formula. ये general है, ठीक है. Now all the others जो ऊपर हमने देखे हैं formulas, they fall inside it. Okay, even your, so we will see, this is our next module inshallah next week, जो analytical geometry के बाद है, matrix decomposition. So we will see that in detail. पूरा वही देखेंगे, SVD, eigenvalue decomposition, वो सारा कुछ. But for now you have to accept from take my word for it that it is like that. Yeah, it gives the project, but this one, the thing I want to emphasize is if you solve this and the matrix happens to be tall full column rank, the solution will come out to be खुद ही निकल आएगा वो बात, ठीक है. Similarly, if you solve this and the matrix happens to be diagonal, जो solution यहाँ आना, not only that, if you solve this and the matrix was already square and full rank, then it will be ATA inverse. तो ये सही जनरल है उसका, इट कवर्स एवरीथिंग. तो अगर आपको नहीं पता कि आपका मैट्रिक्स क्या है, सिंपली SVD करें और उसका सूडो इनवर्स बना लें. या सो इट्स if it is full column rank and square, then the pseudo inverse is simply the inverse, meaning it says I will give you the solution at zero loss and without making any assumptions. Min norm में it gives you zero loss, but it makes an assumption, which is that I am going to pick the solution with the least norm, right? But इस case में there is no compromise involved, there is no loss involved, and there is no selection involved. It's an exact unique जो एक solution possible था वही आएगा. Yeah, so we've already seen that, but it turns out that the pseudo inverse is basically the solution to this problem. So pseudo inverse और least square साथ साथ चलते हैं. Pseudo inverse is the solution to least square problems. ठीक है, फिर उसमें जो जिस तरह का मर्जी मैट्रिक्स डालते जाएं, आपको पता होना चाहिए बहरहाल कि if the matrix is not invertible, not square, then it's either giving you a compromise solution or a chosen solution, which is min norm solution. Yeah? So you can read up on the lesser cousin of pseudo inverse called the generalized inverse. ये एक मैंने अच्छा इसमें काफ़ी अच्छा मटेरियल है इनके पास, right? So you can read that, and I leave that to you to read up on. If I give you some basis, how do you convert them into orthonormal basis? बड़ा सिंपल सा प्रोसीजर है, इसका नाम ग्राम श्मिट है, पढ़ लेना. डायग्राम से भी समझ आ जाता है, लेकिन I don't want to spend time on that. अफाइन स्पेस हमेशा एंड में आनी होती है हमारे ठीक है. इंस्टेड ऑफ प्रोजेक्टिंग ऑन यू, व्हाट इफ आई वांट टू प्रोजेक्ट ऑन, यस यू कैन, वेरी सिंपल. याद है पहले हम कह रहे थे आई वांटेड टू प्रोजेक्ट दिस गाय ऑन टू यू, सम subspace u. Now I am saying I don't want to project it on u, I want to project it on x naught plus u, which is L. That is an affine subspace of u. Yes, you can simply पहले ये करें कि x minus x naught दोनों को गिरा दें नीचे, स्पेस को भी गिरा दें और वेक्टर को भी गिरा दें. गिर गए, प्रोजेक्शन ले लें, फिर प्रोजेक्शन को वापस ऊपर ले जाएं ठीक है. बहुत सिंपल प्रोसीजर है, कोई बड़ा मसला नहीं है. एंड किस चीज़ का? अफाइन का? राइट, बट बेहतर होगा अगर आपने सोल्यूशन अफाइन में ही लगाना हो ना. आप जो वहाँ मुझे दे रहे थे वहाँ तो आप यू वर गिविंग मी ए एक्स इक्वल्स बी, राइट. सो यू वर आस्किंग मी टू कम एज क्लोज एज पॉसिबल टू द कॉलम स्पेस ऑफ ए. अफाइन का तो नहीं आप मुझे कह रहे थे, राइट. सो उस सेंस में मतलब इट ऑल डिपेंड्स ऑन कि आपका गोल क्या है ना. उसमें तो आप ढूंढ ही यू में रहे थे ना, उसकी कॉलम स्पेस, राइट. अब ये होता है मैनी टाइम्स आवर रिक्वायरमेंट इज़ नॉट टू फाइंड द सोल्यूशन इन यू बट इन एल. तो उस केस में इट्स बेटर डेफिनेटली. अदरवाइज देखिए, if I ask you to solve ax equals b and the column space of a is here और आप अफाइन करके मुझे ये दे दें और कहें हाँ ये और भी करीब आ गया है, तो करीब तो ये आ गया है, पर वो जो की रिक्वायरमेंट थी कि द सोल्यूशन इज़ नो लॉन्गर इन द सब स्पेस दैट आई वांटेड इट टू बी. समझे? करीब तो आप लेकिन उस यही तो मसला था कि b वाज नेवर इन द सब स्पेस ऑफ u, राइट. सो वो प्रॉब्लम हो जाएगा. We will use projection onto affine subspace to define separating hyperplanes in machine learning. ये सारे आगे आएंगे जब वो उसमें यूज़ करना होता है. I'll let you read up on rotation matrices. आखिरी टॉपिक है ये in this thing. Basically it can be shown that all orthogonal matrices represent rotation. ठीक है. और हमने already linear transformations की हुई है. If you want to find the matrix R, which is a rotation matrix, all you have to do is apply rotation to the standard basis. Basis पे rotation apply करें, जो formula आएगा वो formula represent करेगा पूरी rotation को. ठीक है. ये अगर आपको अभी समझ नहीं आ रहा तो याद करें. Just recall when we defined transformations, we had defined that there. या ट्रांसफॉर्मेशन मैट्रिक्स में कि वी यूज टू अप्लाई द ट्रांसफॉर्मेशन टू द बेसिस ऑफ द सोर्स. याद है ये वही हो रहा बस. तो वी डू दैट रोटेशन इन 3D. सिमिलरली हियर 3D है तो नाउ यू कैन रोटेट अलॉन्ग. वो वाली रोटेशन इज अबाउट द ओरिजिन. दिस रोटेशन इज कैन बी अबाउट E1, E2 और E3, और अगर कोई और पिक करना है वो भी कर सकते हैं, लेकिन बहरहाल स्टैंडर्ड ये ज़्यादा है. रोटेशन इन n डायमेंशंस, जनरल फार्मूला ये है n डायमेंशंस का. बेसिकली यू टेक वन 2D प्लेन और बकिया सारे को आप फिक्स कर देते हैं और उसको घुमाते हैं. ठीक है. सो गेट्स हार्ड टू विजुअलाइज इन हायर डायमेंशंस ऑफ कोर्स, बट इट कैन बी डन. इट हैज़ सम प्रॉपर्टीज़, आप खुद ही पढ़ लेना. एनी क्वेश्चंस? So this concludes analytical geometry, and I will close this thing.